Hi, it's me, Nandy. About a minute to 7 p.m. It's at 1900 hours, the 1st of October, 2025, Gregorian, a Wednesday, hump day, the day that's ruled by Mercury, the day of communications. Well, um, hump day is colloquialism. I don't know if they use that term still. They thinking I'm humping around. Not I. Celibate here. Too much information. I digress. But I have been wanting to do this video for a while as an outlet. You can see I don't get much traction here on my channel, which for some strange reason makes me even more forthcoming. You know, because the trepidation, it was a large audience here, but everyone needs their outlet, and my YouTube channel is just one of mine, a healthy outlet where you can pour your sentiments. I have a diary. I'm old school, so I still have a paper diary. But I do realize what you put in the public is a 10th house item. Oh, I'm an astrologer. Yeah. What you put in the 10th house is a 10th house item. 10th house is ruled by Capricorn, Saturn. So, in a way, I'm kind of sharing with Saturn when I do it this way versus my paper diary here in the house and journals. They're both very therapeutic mediums of, getting your sentiment out. Um, this audio, this video audio, this is podcast style. I don't know, how do you start a podcast? I don't know. They probably got videos on it. I don't have one yet, but for now, this YouTube channel will suffice, and I'm happy. I feel very, very grateful to have it. Why am I stalling? I don't know. But this audio is about neighbors. Neighbors, yeah. And I don't want it to be too long, but I know I can be very verbose and lengthy when I'm pouring, But I'm going to try to exercise brevity because neighbors are ruled by Gemini. Yeah, I've been studying astrology for a long time, since a little girl. Ironically, it was a Gemini I'm in third grade, so I'm 8 years old, that made me go to the library to get astrology books and find out about him. I wanted to know his sign. The librarian back then helped me. Yeah, the 70s in Harlem. Yeah, East Harlem, the memories. But yeah, Todd Bridges, Gemini. Looking at different strokes on TV, I'm like, what is the sign? And in the 70s in Harlem, I don't know about anywhere else, speaking about astrology was just everywhere. Everywhere you turn, it was all the talk. But as far as my getting books on it, definitely Todd Bridges inspired that, because I needed to know all about him, particularly his sign. Yeah, and I didn't think it was anything unique being that young into. I think you're really born into your traits, your profession. I digress. But yeah, Gemini rules the third house, and the third house, according to the astrology classes I sat for, what I study, I'm Western. I study Western astrology and tropical and Placidus. I don't do the Vedic. Yeah, nothing with that. I just don't study that. I tried once. It didn't resonate with me as far as different schools of thought. But anywho, so yeah, Gemini rules the third house in astrology, and that house governs siblings and neighbors and neighborhoods and short trips and communication, popularity. Anywho, so though I've been wanting to do this video for a while as a form of therapy for myself, cathartic, I just didn't get around to it because I don't know. I'm just trying to. These are the type of things you want to do once you leave the neighborhood. You know what I mean? But I'm like, no, I need to do it. A guy on here, YouTube, his channel is The Truth Report, a brother in Wisconsin. I'm like, they got black people in Wisconsin? I know you're like, FBA is everywhere. We're the originals. We were here first. And well, depending on who you are listening to this. But I was like, Wisconsin? So he's made me curious about the state at large, But he did a video on neighbors. If I can find it, again, I'll leave it in the and I subbed to him. I should be able to find it. One of the subbies there. But I'll leave it in the description box. But listening to his video, I'm like, oh gosh. And I stopped watching the what's that TV show? Fear That Neighbor. I saw it on linear TV, and I used to catch episodes here on YouTube. I'm like, since I've been going through this, I stopped watching that daggone thing. Yeah, no, no, I need to watch that show when he got daggone more, okay? But yeah, listen to what he's going through. He said he's the only brother, him and another lady, I think he said a sister. I'm like, she lives alone? On his block, are the only two melanated people on the block. I'm like, that is brave as all outdoors to move to that block. Unless they're both native to Wisconsin and they just didn't see anything wrong with it. But I would move. No, I'm the only chocolate chip in the whole entire vanilla cookie. No, no, no. Mm-mm. But yeah, unless they're from there. I'll probably do some research. There's a channel called Map, M-A-P, P-A-K. Oh, talk about learning about geography with America alone. But he goes all over the globe. This guy is brilliant. No, I don't work for him. But you're like, oh, you giving free promo? No, I'm just learning so much about America. I'm like, whoa, I didn't know that. So I got to see if he has the video of Wisconsin. He'll definitely break it down. I digress. So, neighbors. Oh, okay. Also note that Gemini rules twins. Duality. The Twin Towers, I heard, had something to do with Gemini. They look alike, but one had a tall, I don't know if that's an antenna on its building. Blessings be upon the souls we lost on 9/11 2001. Healings Ashe. I just saw the channel Evil Intentions. I think his name is Jose. He has some very good 9/11 videos. His whole style of research and journalism, I am thoroughly impressed. And being a fellow native New Yorker like him, some stories he shared, I'm like, I never even heard of that. Well, back then, we were told not to watch the news because it can make you depressed, which is true. That's not even a theory. So they would say, stay away from newspapers and the news as much as you can, unless you just like being depressed. You know, it's heavy energy. So clearly I wouldn't be familiar with all those New York stories he shared from back in the day. You know, my coming up in formative years. And never mind, back to neighbors. How did I get to Jose's channel? I don't forget. Well, he definitely has videos, I think, on neighbors as well. But no, why would I? I would have to rewind this to figure out how to segue to him. Y'all, I'm getting old. Okay, I'm in my 50s. Bear with me. Use some ginkgo biloba. Anywho, blessings be. Back to neighbors. Now, throughout my years coming up, can y'all hear the background music? You hear? It's 28 hertz. Just hope it's not too loud. Because sometimes I look at a channel or listen to a channel and the music overrides their voice. And it could be nice music. This is free. These sounds are free. YouTube, okay? I'm like, can they turn the music down a bit so I can hear them? But I'm not sure if they're aware. Like now, I'm not aware. Do the sound? You may not hear the sound. You hear the sound? I don't know if it drowns out my voice. Never mind. Yes, I'm eccentric and quirky and what they call it, hyperbolic. If you don't have patience, hell, don't click here. Okay. The point of neighbors. Now, starting in Harlem, I don't remember any wayward neighbors. Well, I'm a little girl, so you know my friends are little people. We're all little girls, but I don't have any bad memories of bad neighbors in Harlem. Not directly towards us, so none yet. Harlem. Moving from the west to the east, that'd be in my memoir, or if I do a video based on my love for Harlem back then, before gentrification. You know, a whole other topic. But no, I'm thinking. I don't think I don't recall any. And happy birthday to my first best friend. Yeah, happy birthday, Mama. Love you so much. Libra season. Yeah. Yeah. Her pseudonym in my book is Jeannie. My memoir. Yeah. Happy birthday, Jeannie. Be Earth Day. Mucho love, Mama. We're in our 50s now. That's whew. Okay. Back to Harlem. I can't think of any foul neighbors. No, that I know of. No. And I'm really thinking, so nothing even stands out. I know from ages, my mom told me, I remember the 5th birthday, because you're about to, getting ready for kindergarten, you're about to start a life outside of your home. I remember mommy preparing me for kindergarten. Oh gosh, those Harlem 70s. 70s music, Harlem, big afro in my hair and braids and beads and oh god, just like it was yesterday. But I remember her telling me there was a storm on my birthday every year. So no one came to my birthday parties but the kids in the building. And that was cute. So it's daytime. We're all in our pajamas because they're not going outside. And she invited other, her friends with moms with little kids that lived outside the building or outside the borough. Anybody traveling that type of snow? I mean, snow hip high for adults, and just major storms. And I was looking at was it Matt Pack again? One of those channels that tell you about all the snowstorms, major ones. I think New York had one in 1888. Yeah, back then, them snowstorms are nothing to play with. Good Lord. And one was right on my birthday. And mommy was like, you had major snowstorms when you were born, all the way up to like age 5. Just always a horrific storm on your birthday. I'm like, oh. Well, people say I write like thunder. I've been heard my writing is a storm, which isn't even my personality. Shout out Tommy Harlem. He was like, you write like thunder. I'm like, well, that's not my personality. He was like, I know, but I know it's you. I know your syntax, but so maybe it's something. My writing has something to do with them storms or Oya. I share Oya. I share Mama. Wednesday's her day. Happy Wednesday, Oya. I have no idea, but that's what was told to me. So sometimes I'm thinking like, is it the storms? Never mind. So yeah, no bad memories with Harlem. No, with neighbors that I could recall, and I'm thinking. I'm thinking. Of course, it's Harlem. There's crime outside and stuff. But I'm talking about neighbors next door. The door next door, upstairs. No, nothing. No, no. I don't. My mom's such a lady, delicate, and she didn't use profanity or she didn't call people names or anything. Not even behind their back. She didn't call anyone out their name. Just a lady, a stately woman. I shame Mama. So it wouldn't be any reason to pick a fight with her. But some people do. Some people don't like. They resent classy people. That's another whole nother topic. But no, argued with no neighbors. None. No, just nothing off in Harlem. So we moved to Queens again. Nothing. Shout out Marlon. That's my homie. That's his name in my memoir. Yeah, Marlon. Right next door. No, not one glitch. Mm-mm. Neighbor that grown up in Queens and um, no, I grew up in Harlem in Queens. Sometimes I'm saying I'm from Queens by way of Harlem. No, no weird glitches with the neighbor. Not while I was there. Once I moved out, and my sister friends, she started keeping traffic. The neighbors would complain to my mom. That's in the memoirs, all over the topic. But with me there, growing up in our house, no, no neighbor beef, no neighborly beef at all. Nothing. No, no, nada, Nathan. And you had nosy neighbors who tell your parents on you, but nothing like what I'm going through now. And I'm 13 minutes in. But I want to give you a pattern because some people may say, "Well, is this a pattern with neighbors?" Especially if you're an astrologer, you'll just start wondering what's in your third house. Nothing. If you're an astrologer, you know how to interpret the natal chart. My third house is empty, so it's not even no karmic neighborly stuff from a past life. No, my third house empty, and you probably what's in the opposite house. Well, I have asteroids there, but they're beautiful, lovely. But my ninth house is empty aside from the asteroids. If you have a different program where you can pull those up. Oh, so no, 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 no. Very when you have an empty house, from what I was told, it's a neutral area. It's neutral. It's definitely nothing happened in the past life in those areas. Is what was taught to me. Not studying under Aisha Grice, and her teacher was Isabel Hickey. These are heavyweights in the astrology community, astrologic here. You know what I'm saying? I shaded them gratitude, mamas. I share. I'm bowing. I share. All right, so any astro ears here and no, nothing in the third house, nothing in the ninth house, other than my asteroids in the ninth house, and those are very sweet. Okay, per the study I sat for, different schools of thoughts, different schools of thought. Okay, so we're in Queens. That's fine with neighbors. I get grown and get on my own. That first apartment family robbed me. That ain't a neighbor. That's the family right there in the house. I rented the top floor from an aunt, and she was in the middle, and another evil aunt was downstairs. And so I don't want to say problems with neighbors because that's not neighbors. They're in the house. Oh dear God, it'll be in a memoir. So no problem. That's Southside Jamaica, Queens. No problems with the neighbors there. I hear that's gentrifying. A lot of Indians. Oh, this is when the whole block was melanated. Okay. No problems with those neighbors. Okay, so what's the next place? Okay, and me and my ex-husband. No neighborly part. That's nice. That's a pretty cool area there in Queens. No problems there. No, not with neighbors. I didn't know who those neighbors were. No, but there was another neighbor that she's the babysitter. She was cool too. Yeah, no problems there. Okay, so then our next apartment, me and my first hubby and our babies. And I'm thinking, no problems there. Another neighbor was a babysitter. We was cool. No, nothing like now. What I'm going through. No neighborly issues. I was cool with the other next door neighbor. She was like a mentor. I'm in my 20s. She was in her 30s. I'm thinking, no, nothing. No neighborly nothing. Just cool. I'm thinking, no, that area was cool. And from there, we moved to the Poconos. And well, no neighborly beef. One neighbor asked us to cut the grass, but that's not really beef. No, as far as I know, they were all Caucasoids. And here I go, something's wrong with the grass. He was like, Mrs. Tall, do you see? And I mind my business so well. Maybe I don't know if you call it well, but yeah, I'm in my own world. He said, look around you. Do you see other lawns? I'm like, I never even took the time to notice the lawns because I just mind my business. He was like, no, they don't look like everyone else's lawn. Yours, you see the contrast in height and grass. He's a kiki. He put you in the mind of maybe Felix Unger from The Odd Couple, not the movie, but the sitcom. Tony Randall, I love you. Okay, but that's not even beef. I was like, oh okay. So hubby, my first hubby went and bought a lawnmower. Never mind, it's in the memoir. So I'm trying to think of other shout out to Madonna. Oh goodness, the memories are coming back. Forgive me, I'm nostalgic. I'm so nostalgic. Um, yeah, she's from that area there. But oh gosh, her sons must be big, like grown men. Oh my god, oh my goodness, I can't think of her last name. I was sure look her up. And we was like, "Were you named after Madonna?" She said, "How was I named the Caucasian Madonna?" And people ask her that all the time. She said, "How? When I'm older than her." she got annoyed. Yeah, beautiful sister. But she babysat too. No, the memories are coming back, y'all. So no, Pocono, that was fine. No neighborly nothing. No. And I'm thinking, no, we cut the grass. Everything was fine. That we know of, 'cause, this, Caucasian territory. Oh my heaven, did I do the same thing the guy in Wisconsin did? Oh my god, did we have black people in that block? What's called black people? FBAs. Lord, were we the only melanated on that block? I gotta call my ex-hubby and ask him. I'm sitting here looking at his YouTube channel like, why would he be on that block and he the only one other than his sister? Judgment is not good. It's not good. I'm like, I would never live somewhere I'm the only. And we did in the Poconos back then. The Poconos I think is more melanated now, from what I heard. But no, I think we were the only. We so insular. Back then. I guess I'm still insular. That's nothing. I'm still insular. I mind my business. I'm friendly and quirky and perky. I'm not going to be at your party and be a Debbie Downer. But if I'm in a social setting that's sincerely cool and yeah, I'm definitely bubbly. I can't help that. But in my home and no, I mind my business. And it doesn't even feel like a discipline. It's natural. It's organic. I don't know. But forgive me, the truth report. I'm sitting here like, why would he move to that block? And I did it years ago too on the Poconos though. I can't wait to get off this thing called my ex-husband. Were we the only black people on that block? I don't. I digress. Nice neighborhood, but I'm a homebody. I was cabin fever. Okay. So no, that I know of, no neighborly beef there. After that, what did I move to? See, I'm doing. I came back home. We came back home with mommy. Well, that's back at mommy's house. That's around the way. I know every day. Again, that was fine. I know everybody grew up with them. So after mommy house, got my place over there. Okay, that area is Guyanese. No, that I know of. No problems. No, no. I remember the blackout. Was that 2004? And they knocked on. They wanted all the meats out the freezer. I was like, I beg your pardon, mommy, but this is especially your food is gonna go bad. We're gonna have a barbecue out here, and that whole block was lit up with candles. It was something so magical and beautiful. So I went in the freezer and gave her all my meat, and they cleaned it. That was the best. She cooked my meat better than I could. I tell you, she said, "We bring you back a plate." They brought me back 4 or 5 plates. The whole block smelled like all the world countries in the world. Okay, with tasty food, and I was sitting on my stuff. I was like, "Oh, this is good. Oh, this is good." It really felt like we are the world. Michael Jackson would be proud of that block. And kids are playing at night and everything is candles lit up. Oh, it was all that. Everybody had their barbecue pit out and it just smelled. Was that August 2004? I gotta look up that blackout in New York in the early 2000s. No, but I'm still thinking, yeah, I don't remember. No, everything was fine there until the landlord sold the house. It'd be the memoir. Because the new owner was acting like, I was like, why am I more professional than you are? And I'm in my house coat and rollers, and you're in a suit. It'd be in a, oh God, it'd be in the memoir with him. I got the hell out of there. I was like, he's straight bugging. Okay, oh, that's a whole nightmare with that too. My ex-husband, it'd be the memoir, Lord. So moving on from there, I moved to it wasn't a Guyanese neighborhood, but look, was that written from was it Indians? No, they were not Guy. No, but those neighbors were fine too. Do you see where I'm going with this? Even the maintenance man, when I was moving out, he said, "You never give us problems. You never give us problems. You always nice. You quiet. You play your music low. You don't turn it up too loud. Why are you moving?" I'm like, I can't afford this rent anymore. Oh, that'd be the memoir when rent started. I'm old enough to remember when rent was my first place on my own. The rent was $650 a month. I'm like, why is the rent going up? New York, New York rent. Oh, I can't. That's why I moved anyway. The rent, it's just, oh, I'm not talking. Every move is because the rent is ridiculous. Oh, God, for me. Remember that man from New York with the black gloves talking about the rent's too goddamn high? What was his name? I think it was at a town hall meeting. I don't know. He'll forever be my heart. Because, yeah, that's just, you pricing people out of their own city where they from. It's just horrible. No, pardon me, my sentimentality right now. Oh God, I mean, you don't like Chrissy Snow and Edith Bunker, you ain't gonna like me. Sinclair, I met Kim Coles too. I love you, Kim Coles. I love Sinclair and I love Kim Coles. Yeah, you ain't gonna like me, so go on, click off, okay? But in anywho, so those neighbors were fine. I don't even know who they are. New York is the height of mind your business type of city. Sometimes it's the height of mind your business, and people still know your business. I'm like, what the hell going on? All right, so from there, I went back to mommy's. No, from there, the nice apartment when they was like, why are you moving? Because the rent is high. So I went back to mommy's. About 3 years at mommy's. Again, you know those neighbors, the same hood you grew up in. And then I moved out to yeah. Okay. Now those neighbors, I still it's my nature. Maybe it's where your mom is your first teacher from the womb. And I ain't never seen her, and she's the Avon lady. And I never seen her, mingling and chilling in people's houses on their stoop. And no, that wasn't mommy. Very, very professional. Deliver your Avon. Around Christmas time, you get extra little samples and cute little gifts. And oh God, just mommy, class act in the world, definitely. Not shame, mama. But so when I moved out, this is out of the 5 boroughs altogether. Same model. Mind your business, pay your rent, mind your business. That's how I pretty much live. But I'm friendly. I'm definitely affable. If I see you by the mailbox, hi, good morning, good afternoon. That's me. It's my mama DNA. Kendrick, I got royalty in my DNA too. Oh, mama, just class. I'm the one that cuss. You don't even cuss. Oh, mama. I don't get emotional, y'all. But anywho, so I stayed there a year. But from psychic readings I got, still get them from time to time. The budget permits. Those neighbors were staring. They were different, a different race. They weren't FEA. Uh, uh, Never mind. The Mexicans, the landlady, she's Caucasian, but not a Karen. She didn't get Karen vibes from her, but she was worried about me with the Mexicans lived in the area over there. She was like, "Don't come out here at night," and I'm like, "All right, no. Once I'm in, I'm pretty much in, but in the evening, you know." She was like, "Well, go out the other way," and she's warning me. But they weren't. I wouldn't say nice, but they seemed to mind their business too. The Mexicans in that area where I live. What area? I'm not saying. Okay. Because I don't know, they still live there. But anywho, but the other neighbor that's already in the building, she rented upstairs, and she came out in the reading I had. I was like, why they so focused on us? And the reader, she showed me her complexion because um the Spanish. She's Spanish, but it's, my complexion. I'm like in 2000. I think it was 2008. Yeah, I'm like in 2008. Why are you kidding me? There's so many black people on TV. The thing with racism is they act like they've never seen a black person before. It is bizarre, but never mind. But still, as far as I know, their racist energy was kept at bay. So for she wanted to paint on our last day in there, and I was like, well, can you wait till we get physically out of the place? Like she wanted to come in and start painting, and we're still in the unit. And she didn't take too well to my saying, "Can you please come back till we're physically fully out of the unit? I can't smell the fumes, and we still, trying to get our boxes together." I don't know. That was very weird. I said it politely. Never mind. But as far as I know, no neighbor. As far as I know, neighborliness, weirdness. Never mind, because like my mind is going back to the psychic reading. Like just because you didn't see it, don't mean it wasn't there. But was that time we did go into the meat market, and that's not a neighbor. Well, I don't know where you worked there. I don't know if he. Never mind. Never mind. In the memoir. In the memoir. All right. So after that, the next neighborhood was even nicer. But yeah. hmm Lord Jesus, 2010, dear God. Oh Lord, nicer neighborhood. I was able to walk to school. Uh, Live right by Pace. Shout out to Pace University. But yeah, nice neighborhood. Is it the nicest I've ever lived in? Let me think. Maybe. Definitely nicest apartment I've ever had. But the rent was sky high. You see where I'm going with this? They'd be like, "Oh, why is it so nice? Why you move?" The rent! And it goes up and up and up and oh God. But at least you're paying for something really, really nice. But oh, I don't want to. Can you say the R word? Oh, oh Lord, YouTube. But I ain't monetize YouTube. Did I say the R word already? But that R word, you know what I mean? And overt. Usually it's subtle because we're talking New York now, diverse city. But never mind. But that's another race doing stuff where you can just charge it to what Howard Zinn wrote in his books. You know what I'm saying? From there, we move out the state completely. Uh, Atlanta, ATLN. I've been curious about the A since the 80s when my friend and my bestie went down there. She relocated briefly there for, I think she stayed about a year, maybe a year and change. And she had nothing but good reports, and it was like, "Oh, black people are so prosperous down here." This is the 80s. We're young. And then in the 70s, my mom went to school down there briefly, Clark. So I've been curious about the A for we talking decades. So we finally went to the A, and let me think of the neighbors. I'm thinking. Mm, no, Kennesaw was fine. I'm thinking it was okay. That was fine. Hmm. Some light glitches, not in Kennesaw, but the next part of Georgia we went to after there. Mild glitches. Nothing like this. No God, that I know of. Uh, Management in the next town after Kennesaw that was strange. Jesus Christ. Oh, Lord. I'm thinking. So I think the next town it was okay. Nothing like now. Alrighty. So then after that, we went and then the next place we moved back closer to Kennesaw, but not Kennesaw, another town. And I'm thinking about those neighbors. Okay. That I know of. Okay. It was there I got my beloved cat. Keep thinking about the cat, okay? The cat. I'm 30 minutes in. Jesus, I'm telling people fast forward 30 minutes in. Okay, so from there, that town in Georgia, we moved here to another state, another southern state. My mama talked me into moving to the state, and it never even crossed my mind. And my father's from here. He wasn't born here, but he was here, and as a little kid from for some years before he moved up to New York. So you would think that alone would make. I thought he was born here, but before he made the transition, he told me, no, I wasn't born here, and in the memoir. But anywho, but you would think that his being here for his formative years, the state would cross my mind to even visit, But I had to visit because mommy came here first. She came here in 2018, and we were still looking to buy a house in Georgia. And for what my husband wanted, we just wasn't finding it. And I'm like, can you maybe change your desires? Oh no, that's what I want. I'm retired now. I want what I want. I'm sure we'll find it. And I'm not one to keep trying to chink at someone's dreams. I'm like, oh, all right, babe. But my mom, she was like, no. Georgia's going up on housing prices, but you can find that here in this state, and I did. So she's speaking from experience. I'm like, you did for the price point my husband had in mind. Mommy was like, yeah, I paid less than that. I'm like, really? So I'll give you my realtor. So mommy is going through those motions, and I don't know. But I didn't want to come because it never crossed my mind to move to this state. Georgia, Atlanta, yeah. I told you since the 80s and 70s I've been hearing things, good things about melanated people in Atlanta. Back then, I know they say, oh, it changed a lot since then. Oh, and they said the only constant in life is change. But hopefully change for the better, one would hope for. So we're in this state now, and mommy talked us into coming here, and hubby had to see the places virtually. He had to see the places virtually online with the realtor emailing him prospects, and then he found this one. He was like, I feel good about it, and I don't know. I did too from the pictures he showed us. I did too because of the hardwood floors. That's a huge selling point. These floors were beautiful, and but I didn't when he did the Google. Was that Google skyline satellite? When he did, hubby showed me the Google of the area. I'm like, and I'm not bougie. If you see me, I'm not bougie. But the area was a little off putting. I was like, babe, you see the area? No. I think they're gonna revitalize it. That's what I'm hearing, and I'm like as gentrification. I'm not with that. He was like, no, it can't be gentrification because the price would be sky high. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know, but he fell in love with the house, and I still love the house too. Very unique floor plan, but it's the area that's, jeez. But again, they promised revitalization, and a nice lady who sold it to us. Early on, I was outside and she was talking to me. I guess she could feel, but she a Pisces. Sure, she could feel what water signs are very intuitive, psychic even. But then she smiled at me. She said, they're going to revitalize it, to reassure me. The area's going to get better. They're going to revitalize it. I'm like, oh, okay. Now, there's something called astrocartography. It's best, we were told as students, to get readings before you make major moves. Not just physically moving, of course, that, but business moves, any kind of move. You meet a new friend, or um, this is what was told: prevention is better than cure. The saying back in the day is, an ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure. So we're advised to get readings before major decisions. So I told that to hubby. So I got a reading, um, astrocartography reading, which this area is supposed to be really, really good for me, and him, and neutral for him, but really good for me as far as love. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, I'll say less. So then I got another reading aside from the astrocartography, an IFA reading, and that reading didn't sound too ominous, but Arumlia did say, be mindful of your neighbors. Now, my hubby just had a dream, not recently now, but back, where we lived in Georgia. He's had a dream you were in this neighborhood, and my ears are perking up because he's looking for a house. You were in this neighborhood and you were friendly and going door to door, helping out, handing out flyers. I'm like, what kind of flyers? Because my mind, you handing out flyers, that don't sound good. He said, no, you were smiling. Everybody was helping. They were handing out flyers. You just seem to really be, one with the community, which I used to be back in my heyday when I used to trust people. Yeah, never mind. In the memoir. But I'm like, me? Outside with people? I've become so jaded. He was like, no, the dream was really, really nice. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm keep that in mind, his dream. Whew. So we're here. We're here in this new state, and we driving here. We saw a rainbow, and moving is very traumatic, especially when you're up in age and you're not as young and spry and fit and healthy as you once were. We had a lot of help. We thanked them via cash, and of course, saying thank you profusely. Again, thank you for those who helped us move here and help facilitate that motion and storage. And we lost so much in storage. And oh God, Lord Jesus, it'll be in the memoir. I may have a blog for this. It's just so much, but each move was definitely with good intentions. Upward mobility. Well, that's probably why most people move, but just good intentions as far as family and love. And, I had family in Atlanta and the Atlanta area. Oh, in the memoir. Lord, in the memoir. Okay, so we're here, and yeah, you love the house in the video and love it and even more in person. And it's personal. I think it was one owner before us, a family, where they raised their family. And the husband was a carpenter. So he added on to the house with his bare hands. I'm very impressed with the renovations he's made. And you can feel the love from them, the family here. And it's a heritage. You can feel it. So I really, really, I love all those aspects. But Arumlia, also when we saw the rainbow on the highway and we looked at each other and smiled, that lit hope. Like, okay, we're making a good decision here. And when we pulled up into our new driveway, and a doggy came, a doggy, and I was like, hi, Anubis. I call dogs Anubis if I don't know their name. I don't recall if he had a collar on, but he stood at healthy distance, good boundaries, but he gave a look that wasn't too happy. And this time I still have my cat, my baby, my beloved cat. Keep that in mind. And the cat was in a cage, and I'm like, maybe I better take the cat in the house. I want the dog to run up on the cat. I don't know. But he didn't. But the way the doggy was looking at us, I was like, babe, you see how the doggy is looking? Cute little doggy. I'm not a poodle, but in that family, like, why is Anubis looking at us like? He was like, oh, babe, don't worry. Come on, just get the stuff in the house. So we, started to get things in the house. And we were here. We were here. We were here. We were here. And my car was about 6 minutes with no traffic. My mom lived about 6 minutes away. So she was happy, like, oh, you're here, you made it, okay, da 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 da. You're gonna love it, da 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 da. Because she seemed, and she's moved down here from New York as well. Her card players. Uh, I'm not sure if they're native New Yorkers and moved down here, or they're from here and worked and retired in New York. I don't know, but she played cards at the Senior Citizen Center up in New York, and they talked her into moving down here because she said she would never leave Queens. And never mind, I'm just in the memoir. So I was stunned she left Queens. I'm like, you leaving New York? She was like, you left New York. This is when I'm in Georgia. All in the memoir. But any event, so we're here. We're trying to get settled in, and no, we're retired and trying to do what retirees do, relax. And my mom was like, I want a wedding. Because my now husband, we were together so long, and we used to study with the Moors. Not on YouTube, like physically going to a place in Harlem to study with the Moors. So I'm telling her about, well, Mom, you know what legal marriage is, and da 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 da, and the Moors this, and the Moors that, and she would let me in my spiel and go and repeat, I want a wedding. I'm like, Ma, I think Goldie Hawn and her man, they're not married. They've been together decades, and I forget not her husband, Goldie Hawn, the actress. What is her man's name? Kirk Russell. Yeah, I think that's his name. And my mom's giving me the blank look and expression, and she let me finish each spiel and repeat, I want a wedding. Because it's of all her children, none of us I was married and divorced my first husband, but no one else got married. After that, and I don't know if she knew she was making a transition, but you could feel she told herself, I want to see one of mine. Um, at least one of my offspring get married. What were y'all waiting for? So I think it was more of that. I know it was. I feel it in my bones. The first wedding, she wasn't there because we went to City Hall in the memoir. But I looked at my man. I was like, you hear her? He was like, yeah, I hear her. And he's looking at me, but all we learned from the Moors. Any event, we relented, but we was like, we know, and it's not even my mom's nature. We just moved. Where are we gonna find this kind of money? And it's not in her nature to demand that, knowing these things cost money, weddings. So I'm like, well, every year she has an annual mini family reunion. It's really adorable. She do it every year. She used to. So I said, well, for your family gathering this year, why don't we just turn that into the wedding? You know, decorate the backyard with the wedding decorations. And it'd be the normal barbecue everyone attends, but ta-da, it's gonna be a wedding as well. And she was like, that sounds like work. And I'm like, no more work than we would do for the barbecue. I want a wedding. Like she wanted something. I'm gonna do a wedding video. Just Jesus Christ, what a nightmare that was. Just, but the wedding was her idea. Never mind. Back to this, the neighbors here, and I'm 43 minutes in, 48 minutes in. Lord have mercy. I'll do a fast forward thing in the doggone what do you call that thing? Description box. All right, we're in 2021. Yeah, it's still 2021. Yeah, I don't even think we made it to 2022 yet. Don't quote me. But we're in a. This is when yeah, we were in a driveway. Hubby and me sitting. Well, then fiance and me sitting in the our vehicle about to go run errands, maybe grocery store or something like that. So we're sitting there, and a car pulls up right in front of us and blocks us in. One of my favorite cars. One of my favorite, and I can let my guard down. Something favorable I'm looking at. The Cadillac. Well, I don't want to say the color and the type of caddy, but one of my favorite cars. I was like, oh, nice car. But they're on our property, blocking us in so we can't get out. And then I'm wondering, what the hell? And like, what's going on? It's a stranger. We don't know them. I don't want to say the description of the guy because you just the oddity of life that this you don't know where this audio could travel to and grow damn legs and wings. So to protect the privacy of neighbors, well, Fourth Amendment, yeah, protect the privacy. And diplomacy. I was raised to have diplomacy. I won't get into too many descriptors in this video, audio, but you could tell that it was playful. And so hubby got out, and then he got out, and he had something in his hand, a pen and some sort of clipboard or something. So he introduced himself, and I'm still in the passenger seat. I wish I had stayed in that passenger seat. Lord, I wish I had stayed in there. But I think certain things are inevitable. And I'll tell you why in a minute. But everything seems so warm and friendly. And he wanted him to sign, I don't know if it's a petition, but sign something to get a bump in the street. Now, I told you I'm paranoid. Now, I'm not hearing the voice of the Ether reading. I'm not hearing a room leader say, be mindful of your neighbors, because I got this reading in Georgia, remember? Be mindful of your neighbors. And the reading also spoke to fires in this area. And you forget these things. That's something. If you get readings, after a while, weeks and months pass, you forget. You don't mean to. And I take notes. I have journals. But you just, when I'm getting readings, I'm taking notes as they're speaking. But you just, I don't know. It just crosses, it just skips your mind. You forget. And plus, if you have on your mind moving and get just, oh. So I'm still not recalling that, be mindful of your neighbors. I'm telling you when that be mindful of your neighbors came in, like the voice of Charleston Heston or something. Oh, Lord. So I'm looking at them. I'm smiling because everything seems so warm and friendly. Very ingratiating energy. Very welcoming. Welcome to the neighborhood and da-da-da-da. So I get out, and I wish I hadn't, but I did. I got out and I joined them, and, in the triangle, trine type of talk, and he's telling us about the area, and he's from here, born and raised, and the previous neighbors, and the love that happened in this house, and I'm again, I'm a nostalgic type of gal. I'm all in with the dialogue, but I got a little. See, that's another thing. You seen the movie Sleeping with the Enemy? The Julia Roberts, starring Julia Roberts, when she met the guy, the professor, and he was asking her questions, and she became reticent. And he was like, wow, what's wrong with you? You're from New York or something? Because New Yorkers have a reputation for being either rude or skeptical or paranoid or skeptical and just don't trust anybody. New York state of mind, don't trust nobody. So I didn't want to seem like I'm carrying those stereotypes, which I should have. Oh, gosh. But I am naturally affable. I've been told that all my life. Of course, I've been told that by non-haters. Haters are not going to say that. But yeah, I'm affable, bubbly, quirky, friendly, verbose, loquacious, these adjectives. But anywho, I wanted my affability to shine more than my, skeptical. But just, I know they said the South is different. I'm thinking when you first meeting someone, your neighbors, aren't you supposed to bring like, I don't know, a cake or something? I don't think your first meeting with a new neighbor is to ask something from them. And then you're asking for a signature sample from my husband. And I done looked at enough, not saying that he's a scammer, but I've seen so many scamming videos, and you want a signature sample, and you just meeting us? So, I don't know, I done read too many etiquette books. When you're meeting someone for the first time, you shouldn't be asking for anything. You should be giving. But I know if the heart ain't right, that gift is a Trojan horse gift, and don't eat it, okay? But, my friend's mom, she's been down here since the 90s. And she was like, no, that's Southern hospitality. That thing is gone. That's not, especially towards us, New Yorkers. So she already warned me, if they give you something to eat, don't eat it. She paraphrase, but she warned me. She's like, no. It's not the same like it was in the 70s and 80s. Because as a little girl, we came down south, well, not to this state, but a lot of New Yorkers came down south as kids, and the southern kids went up top to New York. So they would exchange kids, cousins, adorable. But she was like, no, it's not the because the southern kids get a taste of city life, and we get a taste of southern life. That's the 70s and 80s. That's in the memoir. But pardon my ums. But yeah, she my friend's mom warned me. Yeah, It's not that type of same South from when we were younger. But yeah, so again, I'm out there with them, and I'm talking with hubby and the neighbor, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm right across the street," and da 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 da. And I'm looking at the clipboard, what my husband signed, and it looked official. Like the thing I'm looking at briefly. I don't want to be overtly looking at the paper. It did look like they want to get a bump in the street. So my mind is like, if that bump never comes to the street, you just wanted a signature sample. Now my guard is up, and I'm like, just paranoia. That's what I'm looking for. New Yorkers have a rep of being paranoid. Well, back in my day, I don't know if these reps reputations are still paramount for native New Yorkers. But I just don't want to be, even still, I'm cognizant not to exude or embody any stereotypes that's stamped on New Yorkers, native New Yorkers. I need to get over that though. I do. Because they hear you from New York, they're going to think the stereotype whether you exuding it or not, usually. Psych 101 class, sociology 101 class, anthropology 101 class. But so that was a nice, and he gave me his business card. This is why I wish I had stayed in the passenger side. Because had he given the business card to my hubby, I know hubby would never use it. He's not a phone person. He's not gonna. Before they started spamming the calls and telemarketing, whatever they were, he just don't answer the phone. If he don't recognize the number, he ain't picking it up. He been that way since before he met me. So I'm like, oh. So had I stayed in the car and he's giving that, and this neighbor gave the car, and the neighbor I think is part of the block association because the card looked very official. I'm like, oh wow, okay. So he said the helmet is on. This is pretty cool because I can learn more about the city and the town from him. So he gave me the card, and that was it. We all got back in our respective vehicles. He was on his way, and then we went on to where we were going. I think it was the grocery store. Don't quote me. I know you won't if you're just a innocuous listener here. Harmless. But haters get very semantics in it. Semantics and haters, surly haters. Oh God. But anywho, you guys say don't quote me because hateration and the jamboree. Good Lord. Whew. So that was that. So let like a week or so go by. Let a week or so go by. And I use the card. I call him because at this point he doesn't have our phone numbers, but I have his card. So I called him and I forgot what I inquired about. Don't quote me. I wonder if it was the litter because there's a litter problem. That's another thing. If you're a native New Yorker and you're thinking about moving down south, because growing well in the 70s and 80s when I came down in the summers to not this state but the state we're rooted from, I don't remember seeing litter in the South back then. I just don't. I don't remember seeing litter anywhere other than New York, and that's what they'll remind you of. Oh no no no! They'll be like, we didn't have litter till New Yorkers moved down here, so do not bring up litter. If they know you're a native New Yorker, do not bring up litter. Now he didn't do that on the phone, no, but I was probably inquiring about does the sanitation pick up litter and where is this litter coming from? Why is there so much litter? This is oh my God. So I think maybe I was inquiring about how do they come out and street sweep or what's going on. But that conversation was very pleasant. And then he was like, well, I can invite you to one of the community board meetings, like, similar to a town hall and paraphrasing. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, cool. So he added me to the, no, I think Madam, he calls her Madam Secretary. Really nice. The Pisces, that's the lady who sold us the house. And did she add me to the group chat on the phone? I don't know, but I know they whisked me in and I went to the meeting. I don't know if the meetings were once a month. I don't know. But whew, I don't know. And we were there. I'm trying to figure out how often did I go, but he came and got me in one of my favorite caddies and stuff like that. He no longer has that car though. And everything seemed good. Seemed good. And he would call me and I told him, oh, we're about to get married. He was like, oh, really, congratulations. I'm like, well, we don't really know anyone here. We're new here. So, yeah, it's going to be a very small, intimate affair. But you're welcome to come. So I invited him to our wedding. And those conversations were pretty cool. I'm thinking about where did it all go wrong. Oh, the first time we were on the phone, because he's been called a chatty. I don't call him a chatty Cathy, but he's very loquacious, verbose, like I am. So I'm not judging it. So he's on we're on the phone, and he says the first time I had this sinking feeling. He says, "Open the windows." Now you're like, "Oh, that sounds harmless, innocent," and it does. But I don't know, for some reason I had a sinking feeling. But again, that's that paranoia they talk about with New Yorkers. I don't know, maybe I'm different. So I don't give directives unless you're soliciting my advice, unless you're asking me my opinion. If I'm just meeting you, I won't give out directives about your stuff too quick. I won't. I I read too many etiquette books, and then again, my mom. I ain't never seen her do that. I'm just meeting you. I'm not telling you what to do with your house. So I don't know. I had this sinking feeling like open. And then I saw the news when I was at my mom's. I saw it in a news one night, and a Caucasian lady from the same town. She was speaking, out against, something not good. She was like, I don't even open my windows anymore. So then my mind is going back to that news feed with her saying, she's Caucasian. I'm like, what neighborhood she's in? What the hell going on? So I'm like, we ain't open our windows. We get an air purifier and some fans and air AC and call it a day. So this is what I'm talking to with hubby in private. Well, then fiance in private. So he on the phone, yeah, open your windows, air the place out. And then I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, alrighty. So I don't know, that was the first sinking feeling. So then we're on the phone again, not that same day, but some maybe a couple of weeks later or some days down the line. And then he goes, and I was home alone then. I don't know where hubby went. But I was home alone. And to this neighbor's credit, no, he doesn't have hubby's phone number to ask him directly. But I'm thinking, man to man, and hubby's older than him. But this is still an older man. He told us he's born in 1964. So he's older than me, but younger than hubby. But it's still man to man. I'm like, why don't he ask him directly? What? Okay, let me get to the point. I'm jumping the story here. So we're on the phone, and very engaging. Again, very ingratiating, engaging. And again, I'm nostalgic. I'm a researcher. Yes, I got on the internet and studied the town through the internet and studied, my own research things. But him telling me about the town, born and raised here, is a whole different, rich experience versus looking it up yourself. Well, I like both, but it's different, if you will. So I'm on the phone like, wow, learning so much about the area. Where's the good food? Where's the good places to eat? And I'm taking notes. My journal's handy. Learning about the town. So at the towards the end of this dialogue, he goes, "Let me see the paperwork he has for the bill of sale for the house." I'm paraphrasing. With haters, things get very verbatim and semantic, and so I gotta say paraphrasing, okay? I'm like, huh? And I'm on the phone. This is phone, with not FaceTime. I'm old school. Someone would have to tell me, let's do FaceTime. I'm on the phone like, what's that? Got me through it. So yes, I'm on the phone, regular talking. And he said the paperwork, what he signed to get the house at the closing. And I'm on the phone like, everything in me just seemed to I shuddered. Because, again, oh, Lord have mercy. Again, he was 10 years, like 10 years my senior, roundabout. And I don't want to say respect your elders because I have gray hair. We both have gray hair. I don't know, but I don't want to. Okay, I don't want to do anything for him to be like, nasty New Yorkers. So I'm still trying to be, diplomatic and polite. So I said calmly in reply, because he was like, I just want to see what's in it. I've never met anybody and asked to see their paperwork for a bill of sale for a car, let alone you could have bought a pair of shoes. Girl, let me see your receipt. I don't care about your receipt for whatever you purchased. It doesn't even cross my mind to ask someone I've known 30 years to see their paperwork for their condo or house or whatever they bought. It doesn't cross my mind to request that of someone I've known for a long time, let alone someone I've known for 3-4 weeks. And I'm on the phone like, I couldn't believe my ears. I could not believe my earlobes. So I'm like, well, and hubby is very private, cagey. He's a loner. He was a loner before he met me. He's like a loner now. So I'm on the phone. I'm like, well, he hasn't even showed me that paperwork, and I live with him, and then and it's which is true. Hubby didn't show me the paperwork. I didn't even think to ask. And you're like, you his woman? Yes. I don't know. It doesn't cross me on my mind to go up to hi, show me your paperwork. It doesn't. It just doesn't cross my mind. Ah, God. So I'm on the phone and I'm like, no, he hasn't even showed it to me. But I'm thinking, why didn't you ask him directly? Why are you asking me? I'm glad he didn't because it's awkward. It's weird. I don't know. They call me weird and eccentric. My weirdness is safe. I don't care about your personal paperwork. And I don't care. Then I'm wondering, isn't that stuff public? Because my other friends, I'm on the phone with my northern homegirls. They was like, well, can he look that up online himself? If he's from there, can he just simply look that up, go to the court place and look it up? I'm like, I don't know. They was like, that's a weird request for a new friend. I'm like, I don't know. So while back to this call, while we're on the phone, he gets animated. He starts speaking in almost an angry tone, as if he assumed that's what I'm gonna start doing. Oh God, Psych 101 class. Well, they said people don't judge you by who you are; they judge you by who they are. So would that be his reaction had someone asked him to show his housing paperwork, and they just met him 3 weeks ago? So it's there's this mirror flip of, before you flip on me, I'm gonna flip on you. But no, I'm gonna keep it diplomatic because we don't have. First of all, we don't have a legit emotional connection. I just met you, and maybe it's my years of studying psychology. I just know I was gonna be the female Bob Newhart. You seen that show back in the day? Oh, in any event, I just I'm not gonna be emotional with a person that I don't have a legitimate emotional connection to, like family, my spouse. I'm exhausted being emotional with them. So I'm not going to get riled up. I don't have that kind of rapport with you to be getting riled up where I'll be comfortable. It's not me. I gotta be true to me, okay? But so he's on the phone indignant. Yeah, I know people be like, "Oh, mind your business, get out my business." And I'm looking at the phone. You take the phone from your ear and you look at the phone like, "What the hell?" So he's getting riled up as if I asked him, impugned and probed his personal paperwork business. I don't care. I'm friendly, and that's the only frequency I can offer to a neighbor. That should suffice. So yeah, I just want to see what they did. And I was like, oh no, no, he hasn't showed me yet. No. Um, uh, all right. Well, I don't mean nothing by it. He's just really, really angry, and uh, just the temperament was angered. I don't want to say angry like he's yelling, but his octaves went up, and I didn't want to just hang up blam. I just didn't want to make it a thing more so than it would have already. Um, so the temperament went down a bit, and we got off the phone shortly thereafter. Thank God. And I just was oddly and silly me. I didn't even want to tell my fiance at the time because I didn't want him looking at the neighbor funny. I don't. Now you're like, huh? I don't know. I just didn't want him because they seemed like they were cool and it started off on a good foot. So I didn't even tell hubby just yet. Till things started still getting very weird. So I'm in the house here, and say maybe a week later, I'm in the house chilling. I do hear the music, but I don't pay much. I don't pay outside sounds much. That's part of being a native New Yorker. You know what our outside sounds sound like? Yeah, especially growing up, 70s, 80s music, sirens. You become immune and inured to those sounds. But I do hear the music, especially old school. I'm like, oh, there's somebody out there jamming. Okay, cool. I'm in house, and then I get a text. So I see the text is from him, then the ingratiating neighbor. And he was like, come out, we're right next door, we're having a barbecue, da 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 da. It's her birthday. And he told me she's the same sign as him. They both cancers. And he told me in the car, he was like, "That's my cousin." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he told me that well, never mind what he said about her, because that's no need to add to the story here. But they, I don't know if they're second or third cousins, but she's next door and he's across the street. So the happenings were happening in her backyard, and when he mentioned it's her birthday, I'm like, "Oh, I don't have a gift." I'm texting back, "I don't have a gift. I don't go, it's tacky. I don't go anywhere empty-handed." He was like, "No, no, no. She'll understand, because it's very impromptu," and I'm paraphrasing, very impromptu. So no, no, no. I was like, "Well, let me see if we can just run somewhere," because I'm part of the etiquette books I've read. I'm a stickler. You don't go anywhere for the first time empty-handed, especially if it's a thing like a birthday, a wedding, or a baby shower. Let me try to get something. So he's like, "No, I think everything's closed. Where you gonna go?" And so we're texting back. He said, "Please stop. You're overthinking this. Just come on by. This is our first celebration in this neighborhood like this." I'm like, "The first one?" So I'm like, Papa's dream. Something of his dream, the dream he told me, I was like, whoa. That dream he said came right back to mind. Because I'm like, why would I'm not going next door to people? So I'm not going to buy Papa. That is a dream. I ain't going to buy his house, doing it, I'm not doing that. So I'm like, this is Papa's dream. So I'm like, oh, I text back, "Well, I'll move very slow," especially at a moment's notice. Like, give me a minute to get ready. And I knew I was going to move slow, getting ready, because that's what I do. Move slow, getting ready. Plus, I'm going to look for a gift. I think she's a little older than me. Um, they live alone, from what I could tell from what she said when I got there. And I found a brand new bottle of champagne in the fridge, so it's chilled. I'm like, "Ooh, I don't have to go there empty-handed, thank God." And I had a cute little decorative gift bag with the long, slim champagne wine bottle bags. Put it in there, and I went next door. I got it was a Saturday, because I wore yellow for Ochun that day, and went on next door, and was there. It was there at the function. I went to the back. I went to hubby before I left. I'm like, "You want to go?" They invited us next door to a barbecue. He was like, "Yeah, he had the music, so that's what's going on." He was like, "No." You see, he's. I should have took his cue. Jesus Christ, Papa. He was like, "No, I don't. I think we shouldn't get all involved like this and da 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 da." I'm like, "Well, what about your dream? What if this is the manifestation of the dream you had? That was a pleasant dream." He was like, "Oh yeah, but, babe, I don't know. Didn't they invite you at a moment's notice?" I said, "Well, I showed him the text." I'm like, "He's saying this doesn't happen often. This is our first time, and they've been here for years." I'm like, "Our first time having a barbecue in the South?" Or, well, as far as inviting people over, I think is the gist he was trying to say. So she probably had barbecues, but not with, letting the block come in her backyard like that. A Cancer? Mm-mm. I'm like, "Well, I understand astrology. I totally get it." But in any event, Mr. T was like, that's hubby, that's my hubby. He was like, "I don't know, babe. I think I'm just gonna sit this one out, stay in the house." I'm like, "Okay." He was like, "Well, don't come back too late." And there was so many people, the text said, "Bring your own chair. If you have a folding chair, bring it." So, did I bring the chair? I think so. I know my hubby brought his too. So I brought a chair, because I remember, I was struggling up the hill to carry the thing. Yeah. Never mind me and my non-muscles. But so I get back there, I give her the champagne, "Happy birthday, thanks for inviting me." Because I don't know the rapport, her and her cousin. I wanted her to know I was invited. I didn't just walk back here on my own volition. I wouldn't. But people think of New Yorkers as being bold and having the gumption to. No, 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 not I. And plus, I'm a homebody. I don't want to come out no how. So if I come out, trust I've been invited. If I'm at your fair, I was invited. Mm-mm. No, no, I'd rather stay home. I don't have FOMO. What is it, that fear of fear of missing out or something? No, no, no. I don't suffer from FOMO. No, thank you. No more. Okay, how about that one? No more parties for me. I had enough fun in the '80s. Okay, '90s too. Uh, Mainly the '80s. Whoa, did we have a ball? But so we're in the back. It's nice, and it was Jamaican cuisine. Somebody was in the kitchen in her house cooking, and I was like, "Oh, Jamaican! Oh, it's theme." Okay, I don't think she's Jamaican. She's definitely said she's from the southern state, born and raised and stuff. But Oh, she explained it. Her co-worker, she making it. Never mind. That's um details that could be in the book versus audio. I'm on. I'm an hour. Lord, an hour, a little over an hour, and I'm getting fatigued. Bear with me. I don't want a part two of this. I want to get through this thing. But anywho, so we're back there. Everything is copacetic. Everything is running pretty smooth. And other neighbors are sitting next to me, introducing themselves, and it just was everything was pretty running pretty good. And then I see fiance. I was gonna say hubby. Hubby's coming up the hill of the driveway with his folding chair, and I just started smiling. It's that smile that Carrie gave Big. I don't know if you look at SEX in the City, the same TV show on HBO. Just got to be maybe season one. Oh, I love that show. I know. Just I can't wait for it to come back. Written the reboot. Never mind. But when Mr. Big finally came to the restaurant to finally meet her friends, Miranda, Samantha, and Charlotte. But he first told her he wasn't going to make it. Like my hubby told me, I'm gonna sit this one out. So when she turned around and saw him, she was like, that smile she gave Big, like, oh, he did come. I think they named him after Biggie Smalls. As an aside, Biggie passed in '97. SEX in the City debuted in June of 1998. Yeah, I'll probably do a separate video for SEX in the City. The Gemini season it debuted, and the reboot debuted in Sagittarius season. Astrologers, you know what time it is, okay? No shade to the creators of SEX in the City. It's brilliant. You got your astrologic up. You hired a resident astrologer. I used to be the resident astrologer for a certain website. No, never mind. That's back in the day that passed. All right, so we learn from the past. We're supposed to. That's how you accrue wisdom. Whew. So we're back there, and hubby joins. I'm like, oh, and I'm smiling at him because he's antisocial with good reason, But that's what's said of New Yorkers. I digress. But he sits beside me. I'm like, oh my goodness, you got out the house. But it started right away because the birthday lady whose house it is, and there's enough people back. I'm like, I wonder how he even stood out to you. Wow. I didn't say this to her, but I'm thinking it. She was like, who's just walking up in my backyard and not saying hi? And you're like, maybe she was joking, but I was there. She sounded very serious. And he's looking at her like, I just walked up. I didn't even get a chance to unfold the folding chair. And then he looked at me like, you see why I don't socialize? He said this back when he met me, when we were dating 2 decades ago. He said, nah, I don't socialize. I'm like, oh. And I was called a social butterfly. So he's very different. We are still very different in temperament and frequency. But, and yeah, I just spoke up. Because he'll be slow to respond. Well, he worked in law enforcement. He's used to asking questions, not answering them, but, I, spoke up. I was like, no, he's my husband. He's with me. He came with me, and he's gonna say hi. He just needed time to figure out who is the birthday lady. I'm being very cautious. God, I understand astrology. Cancers don't care what kind of logic you're making, and once they emotional. We're all emotional, but water signs. Once the ripple effect and the tide and. So I'm being cautious, because I understand astrology. I'm like, no. He just didn't get a chance to say hi. He just walked back here, and he's gonna say hi. He's a noble man. And he's looking at me like, you see, I just want to come. And he said, good evening, good evening. But my thing is, he's like, I didn't even know who the birthday lady was. And I said that to her. You can't make the distinction. You're walking into a crowded backyard. Oh God. So he's sitting next to me. He was like, I should have stayed in your house. I'm like, I know. I'm like, we don't have to stay long. Okay, so we're sitting there, and they hand me food because hubby he doesn't eat pork. I normally don't eat it because I'm with him all these years. But who's turned down Jamaican jerk pork? Huh? Not I. I think they had chicken. They were trying to find him something non-pork, and things of that nature. And the champagne, because this happens twice. The champagne I gave her for her birthday, brand new, chilled and everything in the fridge. She said towards the end, the end of the party, we're about to leave. It's rude to just leave and not say bye. So I was saying, thank you for having us, and we're gonna go. Oh, but I'm jumping the story. But that's when she told me, "I, know how to get a sip of that champagne." I'm like, "You didn't?" And she didn't say anything, but she looked towards her cousin, the ingratiating neighbor who we first met, who pulled up and blocked us in our driveway. And I'm looking. I didn't say anything. I'm looking at her like, did he drunk the whole bottle? So I felt bad. So I wanted to replace the gift with perfume. But I'll get to the perfume gift giving moment after this moment. So before we left, the ingratiating neighbor, that'll be his name for this. The ingratiating, seemingly ingratiating neighbor. I know that's so long. SIN. Oh, that's sin. No, I don't want to call him that. I'm looking for an acronym because seemingly ingratiating neighbor. Ain't that long? I'll get through this. What are my quirks? Idiosyncratic. Oh Lord. Okay, so I'm sitting to my husband's one side, and he's sitting on the other side, and I hear him ask him for his birthday and where he's from, and my stomach dropped. I got the same icky heebie-jeebie vibes I did on the phone when he asked to see the paperwork, he signed to get the house. And I'm like, why is he asking? First, you got a signature sample. Now you want to know his birthday and where he's from? It just, and you don't want to overreact. But over the phone, we spoke again, maybe the next day after that on the phone. I'm like, why you ask my husband his birthday, where he's from? Oh, just making conversation, I'll share my birthday and I'm from here, and I'm on the phone like, no, just conversation, and I'm like, and I know you're like, girl, you're an astrologer. You don't ask people for their birthday. I do, guilty, I do, but I'm an astrologer. I don't ask where they were born unless you're booking a reading with me, and I have to know where you're born to pull up your natal chart and stuff like that. But I'm not asking for a signature. Okay, I don't need a sample signature over the phone. I need to just go on and do your reading. If you paid for it, that's a different story. That's another topic. But again, maybe New Yorkers are paranoid because I'm sitting in the backyard like, and Papa is private. I'm like, well, why did you answer him? And he was like, I don't know. He seemed nice, and then it gets more weird. After a while, this neighbor invites my husband over across the street to see his house. Now, I give him this. It is a quaint house, very adorable looking. How he has it decorated, all these different flags in the front, and it's a nice house. It's a house where you would drive by and may be curious, like, oh, is it quaint inside? It looks like a pretty cool house, like a uniquely decorated house, because that's how it looks outside. So he invites him to see the house alone without me. Now I didn't even inquire because I don't want to seem like a possessive wife. But at this point, who cares what your hater think about you? Your hater gonna think the worst anyway, no matter how you wanna be seen. But another neighbor to my left was talking to me, Miss Kathy, very nice. So his argument probably, if I would ask, well, why did you invite us over separately like that? What kind of ritual is this? No, never mind. Well, rumor mills are hoodoo in the South, But I'm a study addict. I stay studying, okay? And I'm thinking that's strange, And and hubby is looking back at me like, I'll be back. I'm like, already then? I don't know. I know he's not gonna go. Oh, and I had a cigar. I was smoking my cigar back there. See, this is something with the cultural regional differences. I'm not gonna smoke with someone I don't know. I'm not saying you don't brush your teeth and use mouthwash. I'm just not. Even in the hood, in the cipher, when back in the days, Toke passed, that's your homegirls. That's a homegirl huddle you're very familiar with. I don't know. I guess these things are spirit. Well, they are spiritual. You know what I'm saying? I should go get my cigar now, Lord, and some water. I'm parched. Papa, did you make the coconut water? Oh God. Anywho, so I had my cigar back there. Of course, I asked the birthday lady again. You gotta know astrology. Well, any sign. Can I? Even though you're outside, it's still her backyard. Can I smoke this? She was like, sure. So, before we get to the him inviting hubby across the street to see his house interior, I she was asking me. Now, I don't have a fire pit, but I wanted a fire pit. Thank God we didn't buy the fire pit. She was asking about me burning fires. I'm like, oh, it's legal. I called the fire department and you could burn your leaves and this and that. She was like, no, no, no. I think that was voodoo. I'm like, I don't have that skill set. I wish I did. And they all looked shocked when I said I said, yeah, I don't ascribe to these things being all evil. Life is duality. There's good and bad and everything. Like your body has a left and a right side. So these religions and spiritual practices and no, I don't have the voodoo skill, no. But I did get the fire permit. I called the people and we could burn our leaves. It's on our property, it's fine. But again, I'm very polite. Again, water signs don't care about you being logical. They don't. If you hurt their feelings, that's all they know. They don't care if you're logical. No, no, no. So I said it very politely and soothing. I'm like, oh, alrighty then. So I already answered her once, and then she went in a loop. She kept repeating it, like, yeah, I was going out that morning to get me a pack of cigarettes, and I saw you burn. I was like, oh, what is she doing? Is it voodoo? And I'm like, no, we got the permit to do it. And then when it just she kept asking, I'm answering, and I just stopped answering because I'm like, I already answered the question. But it's like she was going in a loop. It was, y'all, I don't know. I'm like, oh boy, I should have stayed in the house. And hubby said, let's stay in the house. Oh Jesus, well, fiance in that moment, technical. Oh my God. So I paid it no mind, and we still continue burning when we had to burn on our property where we pay taxes. And suddenly, officials would pull up. And hubby would explain to them, oh, no, we can do this and da. And they would leave. But I'm like, okay, who's calling y'all? Oh, we're not at liberty to say, but, a neighbor's calling. I'm just concerned. I'm like, we're on our properties. Can you see it's contained? We're showing them it's contained. So we just stopped doing it. We just stopped doing it. Just throw the leaves, put them in the bag and throw them out. What the... I'm sure the earth would prefer you burn them than throw them in a plastic and... Never mind. I can't. But here's the hypocrisy. According to my psychic readings, hoodoo is being done. So I'm like, okay, they call me voodoo and they in the hoodoo. Again, you can't take psychic readings into court of law, I know. But just the hypocrisy of hate. They said a hater's DNA is all hypocrisy. This is what they, say in certain ciphers of study. Oh my goodness. So back to the barbecue that night. So, as Miss Kathy, she moved already. We're talking and I'm looking across the street at the house, like, when is my hubby coming back? And I'm just concerned because why not invite us as a couple to show off your place? Why? But again, his argument could be, well, you and Kathy was talking, so I didn't even bother to ask. Because at this point, we're on the phone, and I'm thinking we have a good, friendly, camaraderie. Oh, yeah. A room leader said, be mindful of your neighbors. He said it. Oh, gosh. But what I did learn from Seemingly Ingratiating Neighbor, the fires were here. And I'm like, that. I think I told him. I was like, that came up in a reading. And I didn't probe that. I didn't inquire because, you forget certain parts of your readings. But when he said it to me, I said, oh my heavens, I think that came up in a reading. He said, oh, you get readings. I'm like, yeah, I do. It was a great conversation. He told me about burning shoes. But when we burn our stuff, somebody allegedly calls the fuzz. The hypocrisy is mind-numbing. Oh, God. Jesse Ventura, I love you. I just know the topic. It's in one of his books. He said that. He said the hypocrisy is mind-numbing. I got to finish that book. But anywho, oh, J.C. Ventura, he's a Cancer, too. And I like Cancers. It's one of my favorite signs, usually. But back to that evening. So, hubby comes back, across, back into the backyard of the party, and you sit down. I was like, what was that? He said he wanted to show me his place. I'm like, oh, is it nice? He said, yeah, it's all right. I'm like, okay. But he wasn't going no longer than, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. But to me, it felt forever because I'm wondering if this is some sort of hoodoo ritual. What is this? And sure enough, the next time, not the same evening, because after me and hubby left, we went on back home. But I want to say the next night or the night after that night, he texts me again, we're back outside and da 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 da. He said, but it's not a big thing. It's just me and my cousin. We're in the front of the yard this time, not the back, but we got the music and the drinks. You want to come by? And I text back, I move slow. I'm not a spare the moment, spontaneous type of lady. I used to be when I was slimmer, when I weighed a lot less. Big mama need time, okay? So I said, well, give me a minute. And I pulled it together. And I said, I can give her perfume. And a brand new bottle of and I love that scent too. I need to replace it. That was a replacement bottle, but it was brand new. I didn't open it. So vanilla. Oh God, I love that smell. I wonder if she loved. Well, she cut me off. She stopped speaking to me, but I didn't get a chance to say, "Do you like the scent?" I love that smell. But I put it in the gift bag, tissue paper, made it real pretty, and I went on next door and sat out there. And that was a good night. That was a good night. We nothing, no nothing weird, no glitches, and I gave her perfume. I was like, "You a belated birthday gift," and da 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 da. And I didn't say just this is because you told me somebody drunk all your champagne, but she probably put two and two together. So the three of us sat out there talking. The music was old school. It was really really good, and yeah, I thought the friendship, and that's the night he invited me and his cousin to see his place, and it is a quaint. It's just a lovely home, lovely home. Um, but I was wondering, I wanted to ask the cousin, is this your first time in this place? But that could happen. I have cousins I don't speak to. And if we started, speaking, they would be their first time in my place. So not all cousins are close, especially if there's a second or third cousin. I'm forgetting if that's the case with them because I think they told me that evening. But yeah, he showed us the house. So I don't know. He invited a couple to see his house, but separately, not as a unit. I don't know. I don't know. But I will look it up because I probably did. I gotta check my notes. So, right, so the friendship still seems okay. Still seems okay. So another day, fast forward another day, we're on the phone and he was like, so what made you move to this, to this side of town, this state? And I'm like, my mom, she moved here. And I'm telling him she moved in 2018 and we got here in 2021. And this is her idea. She said, come on and blah blah blah. So we're going through that in the conversation. He was like, well, what's your mom's name? I'm like, I'm here go the New York paranoid thing. I'm like, I'm not going to say that. I'll save that for later. He was like, oh, okay. But what side of town she moved to? I'm like, I don't know this. I'm new here. I don't know. Just being evasive because I'm not giving out my mama's business. Y'all, don't you know? He was invited to. My mom held card parties at her house. It was once a week and then went up to twice a week. From the these people she played cards with at the senior citizen place in New York, they brought that habit down here. And they used to go to each other's houses with potluck to play the cards. And I don't know how it ended up being twice a week at her house because would be different people's houses throughout. I guess these are all retirees where they can do it in the middle of the week like this. So this ingratiating neighbor got invited to one of the card parties, and he calls me. He gets to call in to me before mommy does. He calls me, and he's like, "You're not going to believe this, Nandy. I'm sitting at this table. I think he used the word quaint home." Very, very enchanting hostess, very nice lady. We rung the doorbell and she was like, come on in and da 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 da. And as he's speaking, I'm like, oh my God, did he meet my mom? But I'm being quiet, letting him get out the whole spiel. And we're playing cards and I'm studying this lady, her mannerisms, her voice, and I'm really looking at her and I can't take my eyes off. I can barely focus on my game because I'm looking at her. And then I said, oh my God, you're Nandy's mother. And she was like, yeah, you met my daughter? She just got here. He was like, yeah, she's my neighbor. And I couldn't believe it. And I on the phone with him like, you're kidding me. He was like, here I am trying to protect her privacy. And he ended up walking right to it. I'm like, what the hell? So I'm like, was I fated to meet this guy? I just, yeah, I know I've got some past life readings to see what the hell's going on here. Anyway, So he met my mom anyway. Never mind me trying to protect her. I think him asking me about, show me the paperwork from the house sale, gave me some trepidation and inviting us to his house. But he would often say, with the previous owners of this house, yeah, I used to always be down there, and his cats come over here, and my cat was an outside cat, and my cat got to know his cats, and but his cat scared me. One got 3 legs, no shade, because that's etching a leg by, but I don't know. I'm not a cat lady. I'm not a cat person, but I love my cat. That's a whole nother story. I may do a separate video for him. Oh God, this may have to be a part 2. And I didn't want a part 2. Let me get through this thing. Listen to this on a long road trip, or doing your dishes, or cooking in the casserole. I don't know. Or not. I'm venting. So, off the phone with him, mommy calls. She was like, I met one of your neighbors. I'm like, I know. He told me. She's like, why do you sound like that? I'm like, I don't know, Mom. This is just, I'm very metaphysical. Mommy was a Christian, staunch Christian. But she raised me such a way she wouldn't rebuke me. Or, Mom, I was into astrology as a little girl. I don't know, she never rebuked it, or never, smited, or told me don't do it. I don't know. She just didn't. I know that's a unique Christian. Mommy is unique. That's why I'm unique. Oh, Lord. But, you call me unique, I just, whether a compliment or insult, I'm like, yeah, I know. I can't help it. My mama, mitochondrial DNA. But yeah, she let me read astrology and whatever the heck, whatever I wanted to study, she didn't stop it. She didn't diss it, nothing. But, you like a Christian playing cards? Yeah, but she no money. They ain't play for money or nothing like that. But, my point is, I'm very metaphysical. So to her, it's like no big deal. Oh, what a cute coincidence. In the metaphysics, that's not to be ignored. I told you I went and hurried and got readings. Like, do we know him from a past life? What is this? But in any event, she was like, yeah, we were playing cards. This is why it's always 2 sides to the story, or not that anyone's telling any fibs, but people remember things differently. Little context clues and little nuances. She said we're playing cards and he's looking at me. I'm like, why is he staring at me? What's wrong with him? But I know I got to focus on my game. So she's looking at her cards and they're playing cards. And she said, out of nowhere, he yells, "You're Nandy's mother." And she was like, yeah, what's wrong? What's going on? And this part he didn't tell me, but she told me. She said, don't you know he just had to stop playing? I'm like, what do you mean? She said he just stopped playing cards. Someone else had to take over his hand, and he went and sat on my chair. Not the couch, but the chair. And I was looking at him like, are you okay? He was like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, he just had to stop. And when I'm telling you, bit with spades, all that, no one just stops playing. Let's say I use the bathroom, they be right back. So, hold my hand, I'm going to the bathroom. Let's say something like that. But no, I'm not a card player. Unless it's a tarot deck, that's something else. But, I don't, they say I play spades poorly. That's a whole other topic. But, but it's very serious from what I'm understanding when you're playing that game. In the midst of the game, you just stop. He had to stop. And I'm like, why? She was like, I don't know. When he discovered I was your mama, he just couldn't play anymore. Not that hand, not that game. I'm like, oh. So, our topics changed. We stayed on the phone a little bit longer and then we got the phone. I say mama. But I thought that was something, I didn't understand it. I don't know. But, him and mommy became fast friends, seemingly. He was at all the games thereafter. And, from what I can understand, they developed a good rapport. And then I got the heebie-jeebies with that there. One day, we were on the phone, he called, and he was like, listen, because my mom had gotten really sick. And, her health insurance covered, well, I'm jumping the story a minute. He says to me on the phone, I can't help your mother if she don't tell me her business. So, of course, I'm getting the heebie-jeebies again from him, asking to see my husband's paperwork from the house sale. I'm like, well, help her how? What do you... Because, again, I'm trying to remain diplomatic because you don't want to overreact. It's just, you can't figure out the angle if you start overreacting, then they get riled up. It's not going to get any details out, really. Not the details I'm trying to figure out. So I'm like, well, help her how? Well, the home attendant only comes here what was it, once a week, once or twice a week, 4 hours a day. Don't quote me. She need more days than that, more hours, and da 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 da. And I think he's, don't quote me, I think he's retired from the healthcare field himself, and then he's from here, so he know people. Oh, does he know people? According to my psychic readings. Oh my lord, this has to have a part two. I'm exhausted telling this thing from 2021. What is it, 2025 now? God, Jesus Christ. So I'm saying to him on the phone, well, I can't make her um tell her business. I can't make her do that. No, 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 don't make her. But I mean, if she needs more help in here, and I need to know more to help her. And I'm just, again, I got heebie-jeebies through the roof, creepy cringes just through the roof. So, but I'm trying to maintain, polite diplomacy and things of that nature. And I surely didn't tell my mama to tell him her business, but I don't know if she was under hypnosis. Never mind. Oh God, whew. I'm trying to get up to the part where he and I excommunicated. So mommy has her annual thing, the family get together, and we of course we go, and he's there, and Auntie is there. Auntie Glow, I hope you're. Are you friends with him? None of the topic, but family is there. And it's a nice little get together, and me, my niece, and my sister leave to go to find. It's late at night, but they would say, "Oh no, you can find. It's the South, child. I don't know, but you can find people late at night to buy liquor from." And we was like, "You can," because I went to bartender school. We went to make some drinks, and my brother put way too much sugar. The memory is coming back. He put way too much sugar in something. I had to do it over. Oh God, he got to give up that sugar, Jesus. Oh please, your cinnamon tea, brother. Please, cinnamon tea. But in any event, we were going out to the car to go find this place you could buy liquor from. Someone said you can get liquor from here. I'm like, oh okay. So, ingratiating neighbor is following us outside with his phone, filming us. Why didn't he catch the film when we was in the house? Maybe he did. I don't know. And I'm like, why is he doing this? What is it? No, I didn't say that part yet because my mind is focused on the car and going to find the liquor. My niece, at this time, maybe she's 12. No, she may be a little older. She's in high school, definitely. But she low key. She's not. She's into astrology though. That's my baby. But no, I didn't get into it just naturally. You're in it or you're not. But she's not into metaphysics. She's not even. She's a native New Yorker, so some people may think she's paranoid, but I don't see her as paranoid. But the way her facial expression went, the way she looked, she was like, "Why is he filming us?" Then I looked, I'm like, "Oh, that's my neighbor." And we just got in the car and went on. And then she just seemed unsettled, and that's not her. I'm like, something's off. Because if her heebie-jeebie meter is pinging, something, women intuition, just something is off. So we come back with the look, and I asked him, "Why you filmed us?" He was like, "We're in a gathering. It's normal to film at parties, is it? Isn't it?" I'm like, it is. And I didn't want to say, well, my niece bringing it up makes me think something is off. The frequency, because what they say, words can lie, mouths can lie, but energy never lies. And I'm so oblivious going to find a liquor, I ain't paying them no mind. So I said, "Well, will you share the pictures? You know, the film, the footage you took of us?" "Oh yeah, sure." And what he sent me was blurry, like it wasn't. I don't know. But anyway, but again, once she got the heebie-jeebies, my heebie-jeebies is just set. It's fixed because this niece doesn't even talk like that at all. So I'm like, oh boy, something is off in our opinion with this guy, and so I just started putting healthy distance and between and things of that nature. And one time we was on the phone, three-way, him, me, and my mom. And he was like, "A raccoon came out from your property. It's gonna coming up to me like he's gonna do something. I'll trap his ass." Now I'm not country. I'm like, because I don't want to trap no damn animal. I'm like, you would trap, and it was beavers. Off topic. The beavers in my mom's backyard. I'm like, "Mom, New York, the animal for New York is the beaver. Did they follow you?" No, mommy wasn't metaphysical. She's on the phone like, huh? Never mind. In the memoir, but anywho, I gotta look at the animal totem for beaver. Raccoon, I know that because I have the medicine cards book. I think raccoon is card 7. I don't know. I forgot the card. But they call blacks who sell out coons, and coon was a racial slur from Caucasoids back in the day. But when you read the medicine cards, raccoon is something completely different. I'm like, whoa. Yeah, I love that book, the medicine cards. But so when he was telling me this, I started thinking about the definition of the raccoon. I'm like, I've never seen a raccoon on our property. I didn't. Yeah, he came right from your property, gonna come up to me like he wanted to do something. Yeah, I'm gonna trap his ass. Now, did he trap him? I don't know. I hope not. I started praying for the raccoon. Just run, flee. But he gave me this sense that the raccoon knows what he's up to, and the raccoon was defending us. So I'm like, oh, Southern raccoon defending the Northerners. How beautiful. I didn't say it, but I'm thinking it. I'm like, when I get off this phone, I'm going right to my medicine cards book and look up raccoon. And the raccoon defends the underdog. I'm paraphrasing, but if you got that book, they may even have the excerpt online, raccoon, medicine cards. The raccoon defends the underdog. I'm like, and they're using that word to describe sellouts? The sellouts ain't defending the underdog. The sellouts are defending the upper dog, the top dog, the Caucasoids, according to the study. Yeah. Anyway, so that was that conversation. So he and I are still in communication at this point, and I don't know what made me. Before I'm trying to get all the incidents out before the excommunication was imported by him. And I was like, okay, it's fine with me. I respect boundaries if we're talking. We could be in communication. I respect boundaries. It's just who I am. I'm not a play it close type of gal. Now, if we are study buddies, I will. Well, we're study buddies, you don't mind, because we exchange in the videos. But I do disseminate data. I took journalism in school and never mind my natal chart. But I will probably bombard you with videos. Just ignore them. But as far as physically coming up and playing you close or calling you too often, that's not me. No, I respect boundaries if we're talking. I'm gonna respect them if we're not talking. But anywho, because I'm not a play you close type of gal. I don't know. I take pride in that. I do. I just posted something on my Facebook about Buddhism and detachment in Buddhism. Buddhists don't want you being attached to nothing but peace, okay? Whew. I say nam yo hoengekyo, nam yo hoengekyo, nam yo hoengekyo. I gotta do a video for Buddhism too. Okay, so I'm not up to excommunication yet. Oh, this one. My mom wanted me to come over, and a room leader told me to move here too. Your mom needs you. I'm thinking about another reading. She wanted me to come over, and we were having car issues. She was like, well, just ride with, she said his name, but just ride with Ingratiating Neighbor. I'm like, Mom, I'm not calling to ask him to take me to your house. No, he's on his way over here. I'll ask him. I ask him, can you ride with him? So, I move slow. I told him this in text before. More than once, I move very slow. So, he pulled up to pick me up, and hubby went outside to say hi and said, well, she's coming. She's trying to get ready. She moves slow or whatever have you. And he left, and that's fine. Because again, I move slow. My mom knows I move slow. And we didn't have money to take cab that day, so we just didn't get around the corner to see her. And she was like, why weren't you ready? I'm like, Mom, I move slow. Everyone knows I move slow. And especially impromptu. It's just, yeah, it's going to take me a while to get it together. I got a plan to go outside, get things ready the night before. But if you want me to go somewhere and it's in the moment, yeah, I move slow. What can I tell you? So she was like, oh. So, just the neighbor sat there with her, and he said he used to do range of motion and exercises with her when she became wheelchair bound. And but anyway, aside from that, when he pulled off, my hubby told me, he said he looked at me in a way, because I'm telling him, well, she's not ready, and da-da-da-da. And he was like, look, I'm going to have to go. And my hubby was like, okay, I'm sure she'll understand, which I would. We're not bullies. Of course I would understand. You got to go, you got to go. What we got to do? And then hubby said, and he, you know, instead of pulling off right away when I was saying, when he said, you know, I gotta go, and I said, okay, she'll understand. I'm thinking he'll just pull off. He just sat there and he was staring at me in a way like, like, oh, your wife, your woman, or he said, now this is just my hubby's, you know, hunch. It don't have to be right, but this is his intuition. He said it felt like he wanted me to start talking bad about you to him, or like he wanted me to fall into some sort of, I don't know, gossip about you to him. He was like, nah, I wasn't raised that way. There's no men I saw growing up gossip about their wife or about anybody, especially a female. I didn't grow up seeing men gossip about a woman. Just that's not the type of men. That's probably why hubby is quiet, because the men he was around growing up, his formative years, when, you know, young people are very impressionable. He said they were very quiet men, very quiet, no nonsense type of men. So he didn't know what gossip was till he got to New York, is what he told me. No shade to New York, but um, he said I wasn't raised that way. I don't know what he was expecting me to say. He said then after a while he just backed up and pulled out a driveway and went on to, you know, to my mom's. I'm like, oh, that's peculiar. I said, well, everyone knows I move slow. I'm not spontaneous like that. And he was like, yeah, that was odd. So all of these little things, you know, weird little things. I said I have to get a reading, and I've gotten several since, and probably more to come, because it's still behind the scenes foolery, according to my readings. Okay, and things of, you know, weirdness of trespassing and vandalizing of the house. Oh Lord, a breather. I get a reading to figure out what kind of friendship this is with the neighbor. Um, I don't want to let my guard all the way down, and now you're in my heart, and I care about you. I don't want to do that. You know, this, no. Let me see what's going on with this connection. The reading was not good. Got a follow up reading. It didn't get no better. It just, I'm thinking the readings would change around. It just didn't. So I made the mistake of telling my mom, who's friends with him. He visited her darn near every day. But again, that felt like a really sincere rapport. The pictures he would send me, she was saying he cleans up the house, and she's telling him, you know, I don't have much money. I don't have any money now. So he was like, no, this is from my heart. So it felt like they really had a truly good thing going on as friends and things of that nature. So, but the readings say otherwise, and I don't know. Um, the reading uses that ill-worn term, wolf in sheep's clothing. This is the readers. They don't know him from a can of pinto beans. They don't know him from a can of paint. They don't know him. They just know what's on their table. Their cards were the tools they use. So I'm telling mommy the reading. I'm letting her hear it, because some readings I record. I'm reading notes to her as a we're not gossiping. I take readings very sacred and serious. So I'm not telling her in the vein of gossip. I'm telling her in the vein of caution, warnings, mama. You don't have to be mean. You know, be diplomatic. That's your natural way anyway with people. But be forewarned. I don't know. It's because my mom was up in age. She was in her 70s, and because I never even known her to be a gossiper growing up. You know, she was into her business. If she was on the phone, it's usually business. Ugh, Jesus Christ. Oh, my mom went and told him what I told her, according to my readers. I'm like, are you kidding me? She's like, no. But she told him in the vein of gossip, which wasn't really her, but I've overheard her gossip when I was down here. Oh God, that's a whole nother topic, a whole nother video. Because I'm in the living room like, is my mom gossiping? I couldn't believe it. My friends were like, well, she's up in age now. Let her be free. You know, old people don't bite their tongue. I'm like, I've never known her to gossip. It was like, she's older now. Let her be. But that's another video. But she told the neighbor what my reader said. And he cut me off. And how he cut me off? When my mom passed away, I text him. I text him first on WhatsApp. You know, I want to thank you for being a friend of my mom in her last days. You know, I put flowers, very pretty text. and he didn't respond, which is uncharacteristic. You know, people, what's the saying? Humans are creatures of habit, and habits are patterns, and patterns is geometry, which is math. So the math wasn't math. I'm like, he didn't respond. That's because he always responds to the text. From me, I can only speak from my barometer. He's quick at responding to your text if you text him. I'm like, oh, all right. Maybe he's not in WhatsApp. So I text him in the regular text with the phone number, your cell phone number. I want to thank you for being a friend to my mom. In her last day, she really enjoyed your company. Thank you so much. Again, adding roses and flowers, you know, making the text very pretty. Because he makes his text. He really makes his text pretty too. He's good at that. And no response. I said, uh-oh. Oh boy. So I got a quick reading about the two no, because okay, you're not in WhatsApp, you're not. It's, again, uncharacteristic. He responds quick to you. Back when we were friends. Or so I thought, you know, surface friends. And I said, oh boy. So I got a reading, you know, why the non-response is it something I said? And was it the raccoon thing? What's going on? And then, of course, the reader doesn't know. This is another reader that he was friends with my mom. And she said, this is something to do with your mother. Yeah. She's telling me, are they friends? And we got through the reading, and she was like, she told him. She told him about your other readings, and it pissed him off. She said he's still pissed. I'm like, but wouldn't he be pissed at the reader? Why be pissed at me? He's pissed at me? She was like, yeah, you told your mom those things? But I said it from a reader. From the reading, not from me. I don't know nothing about him. I had to get the reading. You know, what's going on here. But, Mommy told him. Yeah, she told him. Of course, I can't ask her, why did you tell him? Because now she done passed away. So, the funeral, I'm going to do another video for the funeral. Yeah, that's a whole separate video. But, in speaking with family, you know, family is down here, and we're all in Mommy's house, and out of nowhere, they go, well, he says, because he's ingratiating with them. So he says to my siblings say in unison, well, he said, you're not talking to him. I'm like, cue the Twilight Zone music. Are you kidding me? So I'm going from, you know, sibling to sibling, showing them the WhatsApp and the regular text. I said, you see here, you see the time, you see the date, you see what's going on? He didn't respond. He initiated the excommunication. I'm just honoring it. So no, I'm not talking to him because he initiated excommunication. I respect boundaries. But he put it to them as if I cut him off. I'm like, what? Oh God. So I told him about the readings that I shared with Mommy, and she shared that with him. And according to my my psychic readers, whom I trust over all these years, that pissed them off what I told her. And they was like, oh my. It was like, why are you getting readings? Because that's what I do. Well, what's your vice? What's your outlet? Why do you do that? Never mind me and my siblings. Siblings is a whole nother daggone audio video. So, we've been excommunicated since 2023. Yeah. Met in 2021, 2023. Yeah. And I'm thinking that's it. Because maybe it's because being emotionally mature, you think you're honoring someone's stance on excommunication, that would be it. No. He's seemingly seeking revenge ever since. But I think things were greasy and grimy before the excommunication, according to the readings I got. Like praying. Like praying on something. Scheming. According to the readings. Alright, so 2023, you know, just minding my business, moving on with things, and mourning my mom. Barely could really even grieve and mourn her, right? Because I'm always guarded due to these neighborly things. So things started getting very weird in the yard. There was always a litter problem. But, you know, things being touched. You know, you have a cute little garden, you put statues out there and things of that nature. Cute little trinkets you put in your yard. And it never crosses your mind somebody would come and mess with the trinkets. Well, things were getting broken and turned over and just trespassing. And the litter stick, you know, the stick you can get from Lowe's or Home Depot, $14.99. Somebody broke the litter stick, like took a tool and chopped the handle where you can't even use it anymore to pick up the litter. So I'm like, okay, there's somebody definitely pro litter and anti cleaning it up. This is bizarre. So I'm like, all right, we can't keep the litter stick outside. That's a no. So let's just bring the tools in. Let's bring the tools in the house. Because I mean, just vandalizing our tools and our statues. Let's just clean this thing up and bring it in. I got a reading on that. Oh yeah, I got a reading on who's vandalizing, who's doing the litter, who's just and in those readings, you just want to know who's doing the littering and vandalizing the property, messing with your things. Um, and they're like, oh, they did more than that. They buried things in your yard. And I'm like, wouldn't that offend the Earth Mother? Call me metaphysical. Isn't that like offending Earth Mother herself? They don't see it that way. They don't. They want to offend you. I'm not messing with nobody's soil, the earth. Oh my God. So they like, well, this is what you got to do. You got to bury this because they buried that. I'm like, oh, this is madness. But in any event, I thought that was the worst. I'm like, we got to get cameras. But even if you get cameras, they just simply put a mask on or disguise themselves when they think you're sleeping to come do God knows what in your yard. This is just crazy. But Arumlia said, be mindful of your neighbors. He said it. But oh, Lord. So then taking our garbage down. I'm like, no one asked them to do that. No, who's doing this? No one asked them to do that. So we put a sign up, please do not touch our garbage cans. We do it ourselves. You already took our cat. Oh, did I say that part? Our cat goes missing. Hubby's indifferent. He's not a cat person. I'm not a cat person either, but I fell in love with my cat. But yeah, the cat goes missing, and he's an outside cat, so sometimes he could be gone for hours or a day, and he'd come back home because he had the surgery. And this neighbor's the one who told me in the neighbor's the other his cousin's backyard that same night. Oh, he had the surgery. Is it what for cat? Is it called spaded for cats or neutered? I don't know. Pardon me. And he said, oh, he's not gonna go far from home. And I went and looked up online. That's true. If they had that surgery, they don't they don't go far from home. They don't venture out looking for sex because they been fixed. Are they indifferent to it? So I didn't even know you could hypnotize cats. I got a reading. Oh yeah, your cat was hypnotized and kidnapped. I'm like, what? Ugh. No, that cat's too far from home. It wouldn't go far from home when they had the surgery. No, no, it's been kidnapped in a vehicle. I couldn't believe it. My cat used to be outside with the other, because there's no proof. So I emailed the lady who sold us this house, the Pisces, who has a good rapport with this neighbor, and I explained to her what we're going through. Vandalizing. Uh, my cat is kidnapped. This is after my mom's passing. I didn't have time to mourn her because just these things. So this is no compassion for the grieving. Did you really like my mom as a person to be doing all these things? I mean, were you a true friend to her? I don't know. Just and then a sneaker in her yard, and I had to look up what that sneaker meant being in the yard and what type of sneaker it was. And I'm just studying hoodoo out the wazoo. Okay, hoodoo you just studying like, okay, what does this mean? My spiritual team saying you got to be very observant, don't anything look off, do this, do that. And I'm like, it's just a constant. And I'm observing my own property again because we mind our business by Lord. We're naturally that way. And just allegedly lies being told on us so the neighbors, the community won't accept us. Um, Lies. And I'm like, why would they? I guess they would believe them because we were once cool. Because I'm like, how is that so plausible? How could that even be plausible when I'm so distant and we're detached? But they know we were once cool. So I guess the lies would be plausible. But I'm like, oh God, it's not even us. But these things are said to turn people against us. So there's groups of people that we don't know, but they know him that are against us. And why wouldn't they take his word for it? They from the same town. Wouldn't you believe someone you grew up with and was raised around? I don't know. But we're too naturally detached to engage and entangle with anyone. But I don't know, go figure. So the where we pay mortgage and pay our taxes, it's just rude to trespass and do things, and It's beyond rude. It's creepy. It's psychotic. It's a stalker. It's crazy. Oh, and it's not our karma. My husband nor I have any karma of trespassing and vandalizing or stealing cats and hypnotizing them, and we have no karma in this life or a past life of doing any such thing. So it's karmically out of order. You know, that's how it backfires because it's karmically out of order. Whew, Jesus, jeez Louise. So it's been going on since 2023. Weird happenings on our property, and it's just, oh, and once I won't say the trucking company. Before we even get to the trucking company, hubby and myself belong to, I don't want to say the name because these are companies, these are businesses, and they be like, well, what we got to do with the price of tea in China? But allegedly, from the per psychic reading, he's cool with people who work at these places, and anyway, the handicap ride service, we just stopped using them altogether because they will pick up, hubby would have an appointment, a doctor's appointment. It would pick him up, go where he has to go, and then when it's time to pick him up from that place, they either he's late getting there. It was always some discrepancy with the timing, but when they bring him home, it would be like all the way around the mulberry bush. So at first, hubby paid it no mind because they're like dropping off other passengers. He'd be like, "Oh, okay, got to drop them off. It's fine." But he said, when I'm in the vehicle alone and they're driving all around the mulberry bush, he's like, this is weird. Like, and he's like, can you please take me home? I don't understand what we're doing. Oh, okay. And then she would call dispatch, and just say something weird like, "Well, he wants to go home," and he's in the back of the buggy like, "Well, isn't that the plan? What is going on?" So it would take a while to get him home, and hubby is not even paranoid like me. He's not into he respects it. He's not anti metaphysics, but he's not even like that. So for him to come in and go, something weird is going on with this. I won't say the name of the company, Lord. I'm like, not again. And he said it's always the same gender. He said, I don't want to make this gender. Let me not quote him verbatim, but he said if another gender is driving him, it's business. He go there, come back home, boom. And so, but just when I'm like, they're probably friends with him. They probably friends with ingratiating neighbor. Yeah, seemingly ingratiating neighbor. He said, what? I'm like, where are we going now? It's just I don't know. And hubby wrongs no one. He just, yeah, his readings are always beautiful. He just, look, he worked in law enforcement, no, but he didn't abuse power. He didn't. Y'all know black cops are different than, well, not black cops, not black people, but there's there's no reports of a black cop unaliving a Caucasian person. If it is, it's extremely rare, and that black cop is sitting in prison for it, probably, highly probable. But no, hubby didn't abuse power. No, it just, this is just not his karmic scorecard to fulfill, nor is it mine. These weird happenings, um, just strange. So I said, let's just leave that service alone altogether. So we started renting trucks from a trucking company, moving company. That got weird. It was much better than this handicap disabled ridership program company, but weird. One time he forgot his phone, but I'm like, how would they know that? Do they have a camera? How would the neighbor know that? Is there a camera in our house? He forgot the phone, and he got to the company, and they was like, well, can you have a phone? He was like, oh yeah. It was like, well, can we see it? They've never, now again, humans are creatures of habit. In businesses, Saturn, 10th house, really creatures of habit of business. So he was like, they never asked to see, you want to see my phone? They never asked that before. They was like, oh, it's policy and da-da-da-da. So he goes to look for it, and he was like, oh my goodness, I forgot it. But he said she's looking at him like, yeah, I know you forgot it, but how would she know that? But she got a call that, he didn't, because we were out front. We were out front waiting for the cab that takes him to this trucking company to get the truck. And we were talking, spouts would talk, things of that nature. And He went into the cab, cab pull up, we need the cab waiting, and they went off. And I looked at both of my hands. I had my phone and his phone in either of my hands. I'm like, oh. So I'm like, babe, they must have seen that somehow on the camera. I'm going in the house with two phones, and called his homegirl. And yeah, because it's very weird. Because he said they never asked to see his phone. That was the first. He was like, you want to see it? She was like, yeah, we have to see it. It's policy. And I called Arizona. Oh no, that is city state. Let's hope there's other companies there. But I called the headquarters to see is that policy? I don't see it on your website. You check the website. I'm the type that read the fine print. I'm like, I don't see that on the website for this company. Are you sure? She said it's policy. We can't rent to you unless you have a cell phone on your person. He said, well, just rent it to me. I go home and get and I want to get my cell phone. I didn't realize I forgot it. He said, you rent it to me. I go home and get my cell phone, bring it back and show it to you. No, we can't rent to you without what do you call that thing? A cell phone. And he couldn't believe what he was hearing. Oh my goodness. So, he walked from that place, the center where they rent the trucks and vans, all the way home. I wouldn't say 10 miles. And, he was like, this is a good exercise. Thank goodness it was a nice day. He said, this is a good exercise. I'm like, you really taking this as a good sport. He said, what could I do? I'm like, you didn't want to take a cab home? He was like, no. Then you got to wait for it, and no. He said, I just walked and cleared my mind. And yeah, he walked 10 miles home. Who does that to someone in their 70s? Oh gosh. So we left them alone. We left them alone. So just a lot of strange occurrences. So this time he's at a clinic. I won't say the name of the clinic because, these are real businesses. And a stranger walks up to him asking him about his travels in life. And, I'm like, is this identity theft? What? And I can hear it. I'm on the phone. I'm saying, Papa, and I'm yelling, and he couldn't hear me. That's what I'm saying, Papa. I don't know these people are hypnotists or trance people. I don't know. They said the cat was hypnotized, goddammit. He was like, no, it was none of no damn hypnosis. I'm like, because it's not like you to divulge your business like that. Well, he seemed friendly. I'm like, oh no. He's probably friends with this neighbor, collecting intel. And I should talk. Similar has happened to me, but I'm thinking this person really works for this medical, well, I don't want to say the name of the company, this medical outfit, if you will. And then I never heard from her again. I'm like, are they collecting data collectors? What is going on? Okay, never mind. When I tell you it's getting very strange with this neighbor, and the readings don't seem to be, I'm like, will he ever be sane? I'm in readings like, will he just turn sane one day? Like, holy sane. And it's a term for it in ether. He said, no, he's a busybody. He's obsessed. He's going to always be curious about what y'all up to. I'm like, nothing. We're boring people. We're older, boring people. It's like, no, he's a busybody. And he's obsessed with y'all. And it's just... And then somebody, I don't know if it's him or somebody in his circle, because this is a group of people. They call it gang stalking or something. And I'm like, we're not celebrities or anything. I know, but they're obsessed with y'all as if y'all were celebrities. I'm like, oh my God. I don't even think people are obsessed with celebrities in general. This is what I'm saying to the reader. The age of Aquarius is changing that. It's it's a sign of humanitarianism, math, technology, digital, DNA. Aquarius is the I know sign. It promises everybody will know truth in this age. The age is 2,600 years. Allegedly, that's why they're all acting, the pale powers behind the scenes, allegedly, are doing these weird, strange things that make no sense to be anti the age of Aquarius, according to the studies that's that for. But if you're wondering, like, why are people being so mean to celebrities? It's the age of Aquarius, yeah. We coming out of the age of Pisces. I digress. But yeah, he means us no good. And what he's telling people, and they're believing him, they think something's wrong with us. But I'm like, if they're into doing all types of hoodoo or cards or whatever they're into, their readings should show them that we didn't initiate this, and I should be free to tell my mama anything I want to tell my mama. I didn't know she would tell him. Had I known she would tell him, no, I wouldn't have told her this, of course. But I don't know, maybe it's best, because had I not told her and she didn't tell him this, he would still be coming, around and being friendly with us and having no really good intentions. Because I don't think all these evil things that are allegedly being done via the cards, and other readings I get on, why is this going on on our property and things of that nature. I don't know if he would have took it there. Maybe, I don't know, but I just I don't know. Like they said, the ancestors don't want you friends with him. Sometimes the ancestors can break it up. They can, see what's going on. The Most High. We all have our spiritual guides. They don't want you two to be friends with him. So it would have, the friendship would have ended one way or the other. But I cannot believe that this is a fear thy neighbor situation. I cannot believe it. I just one time somebody threw something at the window of the family room. I thought the glass would break, but it didn't. There's some guy again, the carpenter, blessings be upon his soul, who lived here prior to. He built the way he built it, the barriers or something. And but like the reader said, he wants a reaction out of you. So it may not be him, but she would say may not. Hiring like teenagers, or may hire a homeless person, or hiring someone to do these ill deeds. The vandalism in the yard, that one was very, very scary, because I couldn't believe that would happen right after my mom passed. They had the gumption to go in someone's yard and vandalize it. Ugh. But yeah, again, the spiritualist is saying he wants a reaction out of you, but that's not us. Mm-mm. I have no desire to engage or interact at all, because as Sevon said, you both could be speaking English, but you're still speaking two different languages. And that man, the Muslim man from the Middle Nation channel, what's his last name? His name is Shahid or something like that. Thinking Bolton, I think that's his name. His video titled, what's in the title? You could both be on the same earth but from different worlds. That's a good video. How he breaks it down that you're both speaking English to each other, but because your moral compass is so different, our morals are so different that we're gonna misunderstand each other. I don't understand going on someone's property to vandalize it, to whatever you're doing. I don't have a desire to enter anyone's property, to do anything like that. I have no desire to cross the street. I barely want to cross the street to go to the store. I don't want to. Yeah, we're just very different psychologies, different psyches. So, but I don't know. He's acting as if I did something to him, and I didn't. Talking to my mom about a reading I got is not doing something to you. I'm free to talk to my mother. Let's make it make sense. He asked as if I took something from him, and I didn't. I didn't take a cat. I didn't take anything. I have no. You have nothing I want. It's just. If you did, I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't even ask. I don't. Oh God. I was never a burdensome neighbor, nor was my mom. I don't want to say, shouldn't say burden, but I didn't even see her growing up in the hood. Can I have a cup of flour? Mom would give it, but she would never ask that of anyone. Can I have a cup of sugar? So I don't even go asking neighbors for anything. When we got the food from the pantry, I would share that with neighbors. Things, especially pork items that hubby doesn't partake of. I I don't know. Mommy was more of a giver too than a taker, so yeah, yeah. But it's been quite the journey having him as a neighbor, and the things said about us to people. I don't know. I did email the Pisces who sold us the house, and in the email I did explain what I was going through, especially when the cat became vanished, and the reader said the cat took abuse, like beating up the cat, and I'm like, well, my goodness, you would think if he did it again. Again, this is allegedly from my psychic readings. For entertainment purposes only, legal. You would think a person with cats wouldn't abuse a cat. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm crying and, praying to the cat gods to protect my cat, wherever he may be. And yeah, but oh, the lady, the Pisces, in the email, she emailed back, well, if you don't say, because I didn't say any names, because, I went to, legal studies was one of my majors in college, 95 credits, okay? So, you got to word things where you can't get sued for defamation. So I didn't say any names in the email. She said, if you don't say any names, how can I help you? Because I get the sense that she's well respected with the community board over here. She's a secretary. But I'm like, no, I can't say any names. I have proof. We have cameras now. And but the camera, I didn't say this to her, but I'm thinking with you speaking, venting here. If the person is wearing a mask, how does the camera help? But it's still good that the camera's there. So you can take the camera to the precinct. You can, see, let them see what's going on. But it's very bizarre, and very bizarre, y'all. I'm telling you, especially with the daggone disabled buggy and that moving company truck with just I don't know. But your paranoia is heightened because he's telling people that we don't know, but of course they know us. Let me give you this thing. Coming home in a cab from the hospital. This was the other day, the 29th. What is it? It was the day before yesterday. We come home, and it's a lady cab driver. She has a thick accent. I want to say Haiti or a Caribbean accent. And we rarely get lady cab drivers. Once in a while. Did we ever get a lady? No, it's usually men. I'm trying to think, did we ever have a lady cab driver? I don't think so. Oh God, I don't think so. It was a transgender cab driver once, but was this our first lady cab driver? I don't know. We were coming back from the hospital, and again, I tell you, we naturally mind our business. I don't say because we're indifferent, but we just mind our business. I don't know. We're from a mind your business town. You know what I mean? But anywho, so we're in the back seat, and then you can hear her though. Oh yeah, your ears are your ears. You audibly, we can hear her. She's on the phone repeating an address to someone on the phone. She's saying 520 something something something, and I don't know where she throws the phone in my lap and says, "Can you tell him, you're American? He can't make out my accent." So the guy on the phone sounds like a Caucasian guy. So it's a diction barrier. So she's telling me the address, and I repeat it, and I'm telling him the driver's asking me to say this for her, and he sound like he's having trouble with me and my diction. I'm like, is my diction that bad? And she's saying, it's an American, you're an American, I know you understand her, and I don't want to be in the midst of this. So I give her back her phone, and then I pay it no mind, and we get home, and that price was much more normally than the normal price. That price was the age of my mom, so I'm getting heebie-jeebies. That's another thing too. On the Facebook, it was a Facebook ad that turned out to be a scam. This is back in 2023, where you can order seafood from Florida. Well, assumingly from Florida, and that price turned out to be the age of my mom. And I looked, they was like my spiritual friends. Look up their age in the Hebrew Bible, in the Hebrew book of Concordance or something. So I look up the age, and and that age was mentioned in one of Octavia Spencer's movie. I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I'm just looking up this what is going on. So I'm always connecting the dots. In metaphysics, there's no coincidences, is what we told. No coincidences. But that it was such an overly priced. But I'm wondering, is it because of the red lights, or she's arguing with this person over the phone? I don't know. We paid it, even tipped her. We normally tip, because that's the price with the tip. But I'm like, Papa, that's strange. So I'm in the house, paranoia through the roof. I'm like, did she want my fingerprints on her phone? Did they want a voice sample from me? What the hell was that? She was like, oh, baby, I think you're overthinking it. I think you're overthinking it. No, I don't trust it. Yes. So I booked a reading. You're like, did you book a reading for that? Yeah, I booked a reading for that. What the hell was that? Uh-uh. And I wouldn't, usually I would, wear my gloves before I'm touching someone else's things. And it happened so fast. She even asked me, can you just put the phone right in my lap? And, turned around at the red light and put the phone in my lap. I'm like, oh my God, what is this? I don't know. I don't know if she knows this neighbor. I listen, or any of the enemies, the judge, and just weird shit. But that is my neighborly story. No, neighborly denotes nice, right? That's my FTN, fear thy neighbor, um, story. Yeah, I stay prayed up. That gets me by. I love Andrew Caldwell. That's Candy's song. I stay prayed up. Andrew Caldwell keeps me cheered up. I love him. I hadn't seen one of his videos in a minute. Yeah. Anywho, I stay prayed up, and I suggest you do the same. All rights reserved. Speaking in general, Mr. Venting, I don't know who's listening. All suggestions. Peace.